I was trying to avoid this story time, but you keep asking, and I guess I could tell you. Just don't get me in trouble, okay? I don't want to get arrested or something, because, you know, it's kind of morally questionable. It's about the time I shrank a guy for the first time on a date. So anyway, let's get into this story. It all started out pretty normal, you know, we went to dinner and he seemed nice. He was like a bit shy, but he just didn't seem like he had many friends, to be honest. All he seemed to do was work and like play video games. It was, I mean, kind of cute, but I knew nobody would miss him. You see, I had been planning for a while to shrink someone. I had kind of thought about this. I'd bought one of those shrinking potions online and I wanted to see if it worked. The reviews were really, really good. So I thought, why not just try it? Why not just see if I can convince a guy who won't really be missed too much to come home with me, to feed him a potion and watch him shrink down until I can keep him in a cage. So anyway, I already had the cage. I got like a little hamster cage and I put a tiny little doll's bed in it and basically made it like super cute. Anyway, so this date was going so well that he asked if we could meet again. And of course I said yes. It was all part of my evil plan. I said, you know what? Why don't we just continue the date? Why don't we just go out somewhere after this? You know, dinner's been super fun, but I'm gonna have to go home. You can come with me. I just need to get changed, you know, grab a few things. And of course the silly boy said yes. Why wouldn't he? What was poor defenseless old me gonna do to him? He never thought that I would shrink him. That would be such a bad thing to do. That would be so uncommon. Let's be honest, these shrinking potions are very expensive. I know they warned about them on the news, but nobody took it seriously. You would have to be completely insane to spend £2,000 on a potion that might not even work. And I, of course, am completely and utterly sane. Don't be silly. I would never spend that much on a potion. I have contacts. You can get them far, far cheaper. So anyway, I invited him to my apartment. We walked up the stairs and I asked him if he wanted to drink while I got ready. Of course he said yes. He was just being polite. He was still asking me questions, telling me I was pretty. As I poured his drink, and I put just a couple drops of shrinking potion in it. I didn't know quite how strong it was. I handed it to him, and as soon as he took that first sip, he instantly started to shrink down. He was a little confused at first. I guess the potion made him thirsty because he absolutely downed that drink. And as he drank it, he got smaller, just by a few inches. And he asked for more. He said, "Oh no, my throat feels awfully, awfully dry. Can I have another drink, please?" So of course, this time I poured half. The potion in it, just about this much. It's a small little vial. After I'd seen a couple drops only did a few inches, I knew he'd have to be much, much smaller to fit in a hamster cage. So I gave it to him. He downed it again. And the potion worked ever so fucking fast. He started to shrink before my eyes. He was begging me, asking me what I'd done to him. I was so confused. So fucking confused as he shrank down. And before you knew it, he was this size. And he kept shrinking. After the initial shrink, he slowly kept getting smaller over the course of about 10 minutes. As I told him my evil plan. My evil plan to keep a tiny little man in a cage. To have a cute little cage boyfriend, I guess, who would always tell me I was pretty, who I would give food and water every day, who I could dress up how I wanted, who I could pick up and let run around like a little pet. And of course I told him that it had to be someone who didn't have many friends, who spent a lot of time at home. So when, people didn't see them for a while, they wouldn't get suspicious. And of course, I'm gonna let him call home. I'm not a complete crazy person. I want my little caged boyfriend to have the best life possible. And let's be honest, he's far better in a cage at my house than he would be at home. Now he has absolutely no worries. He's just kept care of. He's just kept in a lifestyle that he doesn't have to worry about food, drink. He doesn't have to pay bills. He doesn't even have to worry about when he wakes up in the morning. All he has to worry about is not annoying me so I don't accidentally stand on him. But don't worry, I take very good care of my pets. There's one thing about me. I would never, ever hurt a poor little defenseless animal. So, as long as the little shrunk man behaves and acts how he should and is a perfect little pet, doesn't decide to start growing again, I'm sure we'll have a long and happy life together. But he knows better than to disobey me. I would end incredibly, incredibly badly. So anyway, remember what I told you. Keep it a secret for me. You don't want me to get in trouble. And if you hear stories about men going missing, if you hear stories about shrunk men in cages being abandoned on the side of the road, if you hear stories about these crazy shrinking potions, just remember, they're not true. There's no way that they could be right. There's absolutely no way I could ever get caught, even when I have a house full of shrunk little men. want to be next, do you? Or is it too late already? The time you've been listening to this story, you've not realised how small you've gotten, have you? Are you thinking, as you look down at your hands and your feet, how close you are to the ground? Cute. I have a cage waiting for you. Don't worry, you're gonna get very, very sleepy in a minute. It's one of the side effects of the potion. Don't bother screaming for help. They won't hear you. Your voice is ever so small now. So let yourself surrender to it. There really is